Hey guys, this is LB, and you're listening to Love, Sex, and Lies. Today, my guests are Staci.
Hello.
And Monica.
Hi.
Okay, so tonight's topic, ladies, is would you date someone who lives at home still? Okay, so let's talk. So the question is, I do want to know this, ladies. I want to know, would you date someone who still lives at home?
I'm going to go absolutely not. It's a negative for me.
It's a negative for you,
That's
Monica?
an absolute negative for me, and that's no matter what the situation is. I'm sorry. It doesn't work for me, unfortunately. I just can't do it.
Yeah, I agree. That's too much, especially at this stage in life, at this age, at the age that a man would be, who I would even consider dating.
Absolutely.
You need to have your own.
You need to have your own place.
And understanding sometimes things happen. Mm-hmm. Bad things happen to good people. Mm-hmm. We're at the age where we're taking care of aging parents. I could understand now something like that. If you're going home temporarily to help out, that kind of situation, but you need to have your own.
Okay, so that's what I was thinking. So for me, I have dated someone that lives at home. So I'm thinking, even if it's a situation like if they were taking care of their elderly parents, like you said, Staci, Monica, would you go for that? No, still no, because that is still that time. They don't have the time.
It's still a hiccup for me. I'm not. I mean, you're not as accessible as I would probably want you to be if you're taking care of your parents. My time is limited. I have a small child, so my weekends are not as free as I would like them to be all the time. So if you need to go pick up medicine and a nebulizer and we could be at the movies, then that's going to be a problem for me. I'm not okay with that at all. I'm sorry, sick parents.
Well, what if it wasn't all the time? Like maybe they have a sibling that, they can trade off on. So maybe they're staying there for a period of time. They're looking for, permanent caretakers, caregivers or something.
So we're
like
on
that.
a break in our relationship?
Are you taking a break from the relationship?
I'm going to have to take a break. I mean,
okay.
What should I have him call Lisa in the interim? Because I don't want you if you're at home. I mean, it may sound a little
it's
or whatever.
honest.
It just doesn't work
honest.
for me. Not living at home is not okay for me. Divorce, money issues, bankruptcy. Get a place.
Yeah, I get it.
No, I get it.
And
It's
something in efficiency. I mean, just something that you can call
your own.
I'm not looking for me. I don't want to be the one with the good house, the good car. I mean, we've talked about this project thing before. That's all a part of that project thing for me. That you don't have an address.
Oh, I absolutely get it, and I agree.
So,
I want you to have your own.
Yeah, that's.
I think for me, I could date. Like I said, I have dated someone that lives at home.
What's that like?
But it was no problem. I still could go over, But my thing is, if it's short term, I'm okay with it. I don't want, and I mean, like say, right, you coming out of a divorce or you something, you're transitioning, I guess,
right.
And it's just short term. It's temporary, like right. So that I'm okay with. But, I mean, there has to be a cutoff, I guess.
Temporary scares me because, people always initially say...
They do.
It's going to be for 6 months.
And it ends up permanent.
5 months come and you open
There's no
dude's
plan.
house and then no boxes anyway.
Right.
So he's not packing up the move. He's just
and
in there.
They say 6 months to a year and then that turns into 2 to 3 years.
Then
it's
get
true.
at me in 365 days is what I'm going to say to him.
Yeah.
You need some time. Go ahead and do you. And then if I'm free at the time, then maybe. But right now, I don't even want to tap into it.
Right.
Yeah, I don't want to do it. So give me a hug. And you go ahead on about your way. So
good luck.
Yeah,
right?
Good luck to you. Right. Good luck. Maybe you'll run into 3 more Lisas who don't mind that he's at home. But... no go for me.
It's a no for you.
No go.
Yeah,
it's a no for you.
Overall, it's a no for me.
You and sick
it would have to be extremely extenuating circumstances and very temporary. And like we just said, that there's no guarantee.
None.
For the most part, you don't know until it's done. So
do you think people get comfortable? Do you think that sometimes with the temporary thing, well, like you said, Monica, start off 6 months and then a year or 2 later, they're still living at home because they don't have to pay. They don't have to pay that what they would have had to pay.
And now you're looped into this dude that lives at home, and now you like him. You might start to really like him. You have a good time with him. You have a lot of things in common, and now you're second guessing. Well, maybe it's okay. You live at home. No, I'm not. I don't even want to get to the point where I'm going out with you. I mean, if I meet a guy and he tells me he lives at home, a little bit of a phone conversation, I'm done.
And now let me say this. if you go home and you get comfortable and you don't want to do any more or do any better, that is not for me.
That's a turn off.
Oh,
I know, but I just feel like
it.
when you do that, now you like him. Is it easy to just say I'm done?
Right, because if you wait,
6 months,
if you wait 6 months, you can always,
I can be done.
I know.
Okay,
I can't too.
Easier goodbyes.
It can be done. It can be done. But for the average person, maybe. For the average female, maybe not. And sorry, guys, we don't have a guy here to say whether or not he would date a female who still is at home, because it goes both ways.
Right, yes, it does.
There are plenty of females who still live at home. Probably more females than men. Because they have, and then you have females where they have their kids, and they're, that's a whole nother thing. So I don't want it to be like, oh, it's just men who are doing this, because it's not, and we are aware that it's not just men.
Yeah, I get that, but I'm fortunately someone that does have my own place, so I feel like I could be a little picky, in that area.
Absolutely, and you should be.
I don't want you.
And at least you're honest. For me, I just always can appreciate your honesty, and we have had this conversation before, and I always said, well, I could. Mark is always like, no, absolutely no. Mark is like, it's a wrap. It's a no for me, dog. No.
That's right. It's not happening.
So it's not happening. And that's fine. So, I mean, but outside of home, could you date someone who doesn't have his own car?
Yikes. Why?
I'm going to say no, because I know me, and I know that I would get frustrated being the one who's driving all the time.
I so don't know. I've never been in a situation. I've never been in a situation where I had to. So I don't know. But I'm with you, Staci. I almost feel like I would be annoyed.
You would.
That I have to go pick you up every time.
Right. Because when you think about, old school, being courted, you want a man to be able to come pick you up, take you out, wine and dine you. If you have to do the picking up, what is he doing?
Nothing. Just coming through. And I don't like it.
So you gotta pick them up and drop them back off.
Right, exactly.
Right.
So you're going home late alone.
You go home late alone,
And he's gotta be home early for work. Then that's not gonna work. So go ahead and stand over there with dude that lives with his mommy, and that's a no for him as well. Both of them. Next. I'm sorry. I don't want either one of them. I would rather just do me. I don't want to do anything that makes it more work for me to have you than to be by myself.
Absolutely. I agree. You need to bring something.
If it's more work for me to have you around, meaning I got to bring you to my house, you don't have your own place. So that probably means you don't even have a decent career. I don't even want to call it a job, but a career. So that means your money is always twisted, in my opinion. It means you don't have a place, you don't have a car. What good are you for me? Not much.
I agree.
No, I don't. I couldn't do anything with him.
Now,
I'm sad for him, is what I am.
Yes, but I'm thinking with the car situation, if it's a situation where, like, say they just moved to town and maybe they don't have a car because they just got here, or if they just are in between cars. I don't know. Is it a thing to be in between cars? Because
when you get your insurance, you need to check that box that says rental car. So when you have an accident, you can get a rental covered. Right. You're not in between. Right. I'm not in between cars. If I have an accident, then I call State Farm, and they send someone to the rental car place, and I jump in. That's it. Exactly. That's what he should be doing.
And I guess depending on where you're from, if you're from somewhere like New York City, not everybody drives, right?
That's true.
Because they are so used to using public transportation.
Right.
And
that's true.
It's an advantage. You don't have to deal with that.
Well, welcome to DC.
But I know that where I am, being in the suburbs, you have to have some transportation.
And I think about, too, I have a lot of friends who live in DC, who are co-workers, and they don't have cars and that's why they moved to DC. Because they live in the city. And it's a trend. It's like they don't have cars, and the ones who had cars, they said they sold their cars because they just want to Uber or walk to wherever they want to do.
But maybe so that's a different people who live in the city.
That's different.
If you live in the city, you can party in the city, you can eat in the city, you can do everything you want to do, probably around the corner or a quick Uber drive. I live 50 miles away from the city.
Yeah.
So for me, it is mandatory that I have a car and he needs a car as well, because I don't want to always hang out in the city.
Right. Exactly.
So I'm hanging out in my neighborhood, which we have to drive 15 minutes to the nearest restaurant. If you come over, and I'm tired, I'm sleepy, and I'm like, oh God, I got to drive, because I'm somebody that's not okay with you driving my car either.
Okay.
I'm that lady as well. I'm not okay with you like, oh, here, take the keys, go ahead and drive. I'm like, Probably not.
Right.
Where's your
right?
No, so no on him too.
Yes,
right.
That's a no.
That's
I
a
concur.
no.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
so and that's okay. It's okay not to date someone with a car.
And some people don't have a preference. I mean, they don't mind if you don't have a car. They don't mind being the person that drives all the time. But I'm somebody that doesn't like to drive, so it would behoove me to have somebody that doesn't have a car. I mean, not.
I can't imagine, honestly. I'm going to go back to, I'm with you guys. I don't know that I could date someone without a car.
Have you ever?
I have never. I mean, in my 20s. I mean, I have. I'm not going to say. In my 20s, I mean, I can remember dating my boyfriend at the time, didn't have a car. But, you know.
I can't speak to that.
But were you in the city? I mean, was it easy?
I mean.
Or
I know I was still living in Maryland, but I had a car. So I mean, I did go pick him up, or when neither of us had a car. That's different because we were young. Like you're young,
right.
You don't go by your early 18, 19s or whatever. But in my 20s, I can remember at a point where he didn't have a car, and I picked him up. I did have one. I just would pick him up. But no, because at that point you're already in. Like we were already a couple. You know, we had started dating. You know, from high school, so that was different. But at this point in my life, I can't even imagine, you know, having to go pick someone up every time I want to go out.
Pull up as some grown man is on
right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. If you could just Uber to where we gonna meet, and that's good because I don't want to have to Uber back. I don't care because I don't want to have to. I might even offer to give you a ride back home. But I don't know, y'all. I don't know. I'm the sweet one who always I know. You know. I'm like, I feel bad. You know, he doesn't have a car, but he's so nice.
And then you feel worse driving all the way back home after you drop his
I know exactly.
Driving home trying to keep you
exactly. And I know me, and I know at maybe 1-2 times, but then after that, I'm mad.
Yeah. I know. That's what I'm thinking. Stacey, I'm thinking the same thing. I'm thinking I could probably do it like a couple of times, and then after that, I'm thinking. I'm gonna have to feel some kind of way.
Like, unless he lives around the corner from you. I mean, does he live 2 houses down? You're supposed to be the man.
What are you doing?
You gotta figure it out. You gotta get it together, dude.
He has no plan. He doesn't have a plan. He doesn't have a plan.
Yeah. Okay, Lola.
You either Lola?
Lola said no. She's not doing it. She said she's not dating someone without a car. Okay, so will we? Okay, the next question, the next topic, guys, I want to talk about is: would you date someone who makes less money than you?
Wow.
To me, that's a tough one too. Yeah. Because I think that I know the type of man that I want. And the type of man that I want wants to provide. And so if he is, you know, making less, he might kind of feel funny or annoyed about that.
Mm-hmm. Less than.
Yes.
And they need to feel needed.
Yes.
So if you're not doing that. I must say that's a little tricky for me too, a little bit. I mean, I guess it would have to go into how much less. Mm-hmm. You know, what is his potential? Is there growth for you in the next couple of years for a big promotion or some way for you to make a little more money? I mean, if it's $20,000 or less, possibly. Mm-hmm. Anything less than that, $15,000-$20,000 less than me, I'm gonna have to go with no for him as well. I can't do it.
And it's how is he feeling about it? You know what I mean? Does he looking at you cockeyed? You know what I mean? Because you are making more and he knows it.
So does
he have an attitude about that?
He may. I mean, he's a man. We know how they do.
Exactly.
But, so vacations, I mean, dinners, or even marriage. You get to the point where you're married to a guy and you make more money than him. Mm-hmm. I mean, and again, and I know it happens. I probably have girlfriends that do, but I never understood or would never be able to figure out how to determine bill paying. Mm-hmm. If I make, you know, the bulk of the money and he's making, you know, $25,000, $30,000 less than me, am I paying the mortgage? He's putting it,
or are you splitting and you're paying the utilities?
Splitting is not an option for me either.
So you don't do halves?
No.
Okay.
No,
I mean, I feel like you have to go in it however you want to go in it, because if you start off saying, okay, we can split, then that's what you do.
And you have to agree. I mean, I think, you know, when you get to the point where you're considering marrying someone, you need to be on the same page. You know, okay,
absolutely.
Are we going to have one big joint account? Mm-hmm. Are we going to keep our separate accounts and have a house account? Mm-hmm. And if so, how much are we both going to put into that to make sure the bills are covered? There has to be, it has to be clear, and there has to be agreement on how that can work.
And both people have to, like you said, has to be clear, and both people have to be in agreement to say this is what we're going to do, and we're not saying this and do something else. But the money thing, I probably would say 50-50 for that. I mean, I could